What interesting exclusive interview. Oh my god. Continue to watch Akayunguruzo TV and discover more. For more than 30 years, Rwanda's history has been told from many sides, but one voice has remained mostly unheard. Now the former First Lady of Rwanda, Kanziga Habyarimana, has spoken. She talks about her childhood, her marriage to President Juvenal Habyarimana, the 1970 coup, and night of April 6, 1994, when the presidential plane was shot down. This is not a court ruling. This is not an official investigation. This is her story in her own words. The interview was hosted by the channel Memoir Habyarimana and was intended especially for young people, according to Madame Kanziga. She said her goal was to share her personal history and her life's experience during a critical period of Rwanda's political and social life. Let's walk through what she said. Agatha Kanziga said that she was born on November 1st, 1942 in Lambura, in what was then Karago Commune, in Hills area called Yichie. She grew up in a large extended family shaped by Christian values. Her grandfather had multiple wives and children from different households grow up together, forming close bonds between cousins and have half siblings. Religion played a central role in her upbringing. She said she was baptized just 8 days after birth, which was common at the time. As a child, life followed traditional norms. Girls worked together, weaving mat and collecting firewood, while boys played separately. She describes her parents as deeply religious, praying often and attending church regularly, especially her mother. Madame Kanziga then speaks about her education during the colonial period. She attended primary school taught by Rwandan nuns, where boys and girls were educated separately and lessons were conducted in Kinyarwanda. Later, she joined the social school designed to prepare young women for careers in social work. She notes that although she was strong in mathematics, she was not allowed to pursue science studies, reflecting the limits placed on girls at the time. The school operated as a boarding school with 3-month terms and holiday in between. Most teachers were Belgian and French nuns. She also, because an important detail, students were required to declare their ethnic identity, Hutu or Tutsi, upon enrollment. According to her, this information was kept confidential by teachers. At the time, Rwanda was still under a monarchy, and political tensions were rising ahead of the 1959 revolution. She remembered Rwanda's independence in 1962 as a historical moment. As a social school student, she was selected to help receive guests and participate in official ceremonies in Kigali. Among those present were major political figures including President Kayibanda, Dominique Mbonyumutwa, and a young military officer, Lieutenant 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 Juvenal Habyarimana, or Lieutenant. She says she'll not chastised him that day but did not speak to him. Later, through her brother Prote and church connections, Habyarimana expressed interest in meeting her. At, at the first, she was hesitate. She explains that had considered becoming a nun, and before accepting his proposal, she prayed for 9 days. Eventually, she agreed, and they married. At the time of their marriage, Habyarimana was a military captain with growing responsibilities. Madame Kanziga gave birth to their first son, Jean-Pierre, while she was still working. Later, she resigned to focus on raising their children. The family lived in Kanombe, where she managed farming and animal breeding to support household needs. She emphasized that their lifestyle remained modest, even as her husband rose through the ranks to become Minister of Defense and later President. Instead of moving into a grand presidential residence, they continued living in the same house, expanding it gradually. Madame Kanziga then discussed the 1973 coup that brought her husband to power. She recalled that on the day of the coup, many officials came to their home looking for Habyarimana, who was traveling at the time. According to her, the coup was largely organized by military officers, many from northern regions such as Gisenyi and Ruhengeri. She says she did not observe direct ethnic favoritism in civilian government, although she acknowledged that the military leadership had strong northern presence. She also said that the relationship between her husband, the former president Habyarimana, remained respectful even after change of power. The most dramatic part of the interview concerned April 6, 1994. Madame Kanziga says President Habyarimana was traveling to a regional meeting with Burundian President 6APRIL. Before the trip, the French pilot reportedly warned of possible miscible threats and advised against flying at night. That evening, the presidential plane was shot down near the residence in Kanombe. She says she was at home with some of her children when the crash occurred, while others were near the swimming pool. One of their sons, Jean-Luc, later saw the bodies at the crash site. She states firmly that the incident was immediately understood as an attack, not an accident. In her account, she accused the RPF Inkotanyi of responsibility. After the crash, their residence came under attack and soldiers defended the family while shots were fired from nearby Ndera. With assistance from the French government, the family was eventually evacuated. This marked the beginning of her life in exile. Madame Agatha Kanziga Habyarimana presented her testimony as personal account shaped by what she lived in and witnessed. Her interview does not claim to replace judicial ruling or international investigation, but add another voice to the complex and painful history of Rwanda. Whether one agrees or disagrees, her story remains part of the broader conversation about memory, responsibility, and history. This is what Kanziga Habyarimana has said. Continue to watch Akayunguruzo TV, comment, share, and respect each other. Ciao, ciao.